Well, let's go live now to Professor Howard Yu, the head of the Institute for Management Development Center for Future Readiness in Lausanne. Professor, many people haven't heard of Puig or Puig, but most people like me probably can't even pronounce it. I certainly can't. Maybe you can help us with that. But which brands does it own that people will recognize?
Well, things like Jean-Paul Gaultier and Charlotte Tilbury probably is well known around the world. But this is really a fashion house that specializes in niche market, very high-end perfume and skincare product. And so it would be very interesting to see how it goes further after it gone off IPO today.
So what is the point of the IPO? Normally it's to inject fresh capital. What is the purpose of it? What are they looking for? What's the family want?
And so this is a larger story about CEO succession and family business succession at the same time. So here is a company have been family owned for the longest time, over a century. And the third generation decided maybe going forward towards the fourth generation, maybe it's a better idea to bring in professional management, as well as capital injection, investment in technologies to stay future ready.
But unlike L'Oréal and Estée Lauder, they're still going to retain a majority stake, as I understand it. Those are family-owned companies with minority controlling stakes.
That is correct. That is correct.
But why is that important?
Well, I think from a family perspective, having this long-term perspective is super important. Because if you're looking at luxury sector or skincare, cosmetic or perfume, they are under the cusp or pressure of consolidation. And if a family owner doesn't have that long-term perspective and sway against the Wall Street and larger investors, then it's very hard for a company to invest in the long term. So from that perspective, I think it's a great idea to have an active family ownership structure.
So how do you think it's going to actually affect the fashion market and the kind of things that this huge company buys up in the future?
Well, so at IMD, we kind of benchmark which brand and luxury brand are most future ready. So when we're looking at LVMH or Kering or in the skincare area like L'Oréal, what they have done is not just buying small brand, but really leveraging technology to achieve a scalability and commercial discipline. This is where Puig or Puig really need to think hard about how to retain that artistic creativity at the same time blending commercial discipline, turbocharged by technology going forward.
And in terms of products, are we seeing, it's like the tortoise and the hare between perfume and skincare, are we seeing skincare now coming up and really taking the reins?
Well, depending on how you think about different geographical region. Of course, Asia-Pac, Asia-Pacific is growing leaps and bounds. And Puig or Puig have been focusing so much on China. And I think the imperative is to diversify away from just one single market for growth, but at the same time, leveraging key opinion leader, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or, Douyin, really working with micro-influencer to turbocharge these brands. So we are talking about a very different rules of the games these days. So
before we go, how do we pronounce their surname?
So, Anglo-Saxon would call it Puig, but
Puig.
In Barcelona,
yeah,
they call it Puig.
Puig, and a guest before was calling it Puig as well. Right. So maybe we need to get the family on air to find out.
That's excellent.
Professor Howard Yu, thank you very much for joining us. That is now the new question of the day, how you pronounce Puig, Puig or Puig. Hopefully they'll get in touch with us. If you're watching and you're from the family, please, at BBC News.